Hello and welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today. Listen, we've got a great show planned for you. When I tell you I have two very special guests coming on the show, Robin Fletcher and Roy Gilliard. And I'm going to tell you why they're so special when we come back from the break. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. We'll be right back. The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com. Welcome back to the show. Well, listen, I told you I've got a great show planned for you. But before I start that, I'm just going to tell you what's on my mind today. You know, this Delta variant has really just taken us by surprise. And I'm going to tell you what I want us to do is to still be safe. I mean, we have to, even if you're vaccinated. I say still wear the mask. Because there are some folks who are out there that are not vaccinated, they're not wearing the mask. So you still can get COVID and you can get the Delta variant. And so we have to be vigilant and we have to be about our business. And so I'm asking you today to just remember that. Remember, be safe out there because we've been through a lot. 2020, I tell you what, but we're here in 2021 and we're grateful for that. So as I told you, we've got a great show planned for you. I'm not going to belabor it anymore because I have my friends, my brother, and my sister on the show. Now, when I tell you about acting, and this is the power of the arts. The power of the arts. When I tell you this month is going to be powerful, you've got to stay tuned because I've got some great people coming on, some great guests. Our first guest, she's from Bridgeport, Connecticut. She now resides in Charleston, South Carolina. She's been an actress for over 30 years, and she's been in TV shows like Army Wives, Reckless, The Inspectors, and Vice Principals. And she also acted with the next guest that's coming on in the next segment. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my friend, Robin Fletcher. Come on out, Robin.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Fine. Thank you so much. I know you're busy traveling and you are in these different projects. And so I want to thank you for taking the time to be on the show today. So Robin, you know, as we were talking and earlier, you and I together, I told you I wanted to do this show as a way for us to really let people know about the arts. Because it's been, you know, with everything that's happened with COVID, it's been people haven't had the opportunity to be out there and work, you know, and do what you do. This is your livelihood. So I want to first talk to you about your journey in this industry. How did you really start in this industry and how did you become this fabulous actress?
Well, thank you very much. Whew, where do I start? It goes back. I would say back in the early 2000s. Well, no, it goes farther back. I first started with Millie Lewis. I won a contest, and it was a modeling print contest, and we did a little commercial, and North and South came from that. So I got the bug at that moment, and I realized this is something I could do. And I just continued on ever since, and I ventured out into, you know, making sure I'm before the camera and doing different things in the art, stage production, and just kind of getting my feet wet. And that was the first bug bite for me.
Wow. And you know, some of the things when I think about acting, that it really is a hard business when you're in this industry because you don't get the camera lights like you see everybody. I mean, it's, you know, Cookie, and I can say Cookie because everybody knows her from Empire, like Taraji P. Henson. You know, how you pick up and you just move and just say, you know what, I'm going to do this come hell or high water.
That's right.
Pardon the expression. But that's what you do. So as you were becoming this actress, what were some of the things that you had to do to prepare yourself for that?
A lot of what I had to do was take classes. And I got before different professors who taught stage performance and film and commercial. With that, it comes a lot of auditioning, lots and lots of auditioning. And a lot of times I go on audition. That doesn't necessarily mean I will book these auditions, but somebody is looking at me and are interested. Oh, let me see what she can do, how she can bring this character to life. So to prepare myself, I got before different professors who will teach the basic fundamentals in acting, that be scene study or Meisner, improvisation, and to my surprise, I surprised myself as to what I've picked up, how I've learned it, and everything is committed to memory.
Wow. And how is that with memory? How do you really set yourself up? Because, I've been a piano player since I was 3 years old. So learning Chopin and Mozart and Franz Liszt and all, it's about memory.
Right.
How do you prepare yourself for those roles?
Repetition, constant repetition. Um, One of my professors had me buy this book, and a lot of times everything is in the tongue. Everything is in the tongue. So you would have to. It's like a vocal. A person who sings, she or he do vocal exercises. We have to do the same. Um, Peter Piper, pickle peppers. No, and then it's tongue twister.
Yes.
But it helps you to remember. Believe it or not, it may be the weirdest thing, but it helps you to remember. Breathing. You have to breathe because everything starts here. Oxygen to the brain produce everything else. So preparing myself, I have to, it's a lot of exercise,
Wow.
breathing exercise, vocal exercise. It's the same as being a singer.
Wow. And so that's just like preparing your body, because I'm pretty sure many days that you're on set, either on plays or either in your films and your TV shows, that your body has to be prepared as well. So
Yes.
do you exercise?
Yes,
And I know you do, but I just want the people to know, what I'm
yes,
saying.
yes, lots of exercising because you have to keep the blood flow going. And
Yeah.
it's not just about external, it's internal as well. So if what you put in your body produce what comes out. So yeah, with that, I do a lot of exercising internally and externally.
So let's talk about this. What are some of your favorite roles, or I should say, what was your favorite role?
Hmm. I would have to say my favorite was when I got a chance to play a mother to a child that have lost the way or was left alone. So I got to nurture and bring this child out of the darkness. And a lot of also with acting, we have to go different places in our head or in our minds to bring that character alive. So with that child, I have to say it helped me to get sad when I needed to. It helped me to be nurturing because I had to go go somewhere here. A lot of times, oh, how do they turn this crying into laughter, into sadness, and then you're happy again? Well, in my class, we were taught we have to go to a dark place, or a sad place, or a happy place, and this is why oftentimes you see a lot of stars. They can go from laughter, happy, sad, crying, because they go to these places in their head. Now you have to be careful with it because a lot of them don't come out of it.
That's right. That's right. And back in the day, I used to hear people say that they would put onions close to their eyes so that they could cry.
Yeah.
So now, do you use the onion therapy, or do you just naturally just cry?
I just naturally cry. I've had some moments in my life to where I've had plenty of places I can go in here that will make me cry. I've heard about the onion theory as well. Never tried it, but hey, whatever works.
Whatever works, right? Well, Robin, what was the hardest role? What was one of your hardest roles?
I think the hardest role was this was a couple years ago. I played a trafficker. Yeah. And this was a pilot that I did. It was in Charlotte. And I was kidnapped along with another child. That was hard. That was really hard. because you really, really have to go through some dark places to be
Right.
able to bring that character alive.
Wow.
And it was a pilot. Because a lot of what I do, I work on a lot of pilots here locally, and I love doing it because you're working with directors who's trying to get themselves out there too. So I really get excited when I get to work on projects like that.
That's wonderful. And how do you find these roles? Because I'm almost sure I know you have a manager,
I have him.
someone.
Mhm.
Yes. So talk about that because I know there's some people listening and saying, "I want to do that. How do I get into that?" So
Okay.
talk about that.
Okay. For beginners, I had a young lady approach me the other day. How do I get started? How do I do this? And you don't know where to start. But what I often tell people, check the local listing for stage production. Stage production is, I would say, a great start, especially because now the difference with stage production, you have to remember
Yes.
that, and you're projecting. Okay, so if you're not used to yelling and being overage or big in your voice, then that might not be the niche for you. So I would say start with classes. Number one, Trident offer a lot of classes for beginners, and then you have a lot of indies who are starting in this industry who wants to produce. They're writing, and they're using various people in the community to come in. So I would say call Trident Tech, try there, and see whether or not you can get into some of their programs. That is a great start.
Right. And you're talking about stage production. So you do film and
Hmm.
you have done stage productions and are still doing stage productions. As you said, what is that big difference? And which one is easiest or harder?
Hmm. The difference between stage and film, like I said earlier, stage is projection. You have to voice out. It's almost as though you're yelling, but you're not. Uh, and you have to remember your lines. And you got upstage, downstage, the whole gamut. You have to learn those steps to know where your back cannot be to the audience. You
Yeah.
have to channel that to where you're still engaging the audience. Film, you get to cheat a little bit because you can say cut or line, and they'll throw you that line.
Right.
See, anything in film can be edited or edited.
Right.
So that's your difference. So you have to also be careful. If you're used to stage production and you're coming into film, you're going to protrude. So the director will say, "Can you bring that down a little bit?"
Yeah. Why
Because you have cameras everywhere. So you really don't need to yell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the difference. I would say sound and motion in
Okay.
reference to remembering stage. You have to know those lines because if you go off the grid, you can improv, but you have to be able to come back in. Otherwise, you're going to throw everyone off and you will ruin a great show.
Yeah.
Film,
Yeah.
you can have a line thrown at you, and you have editing, and you have mic, so you don't have to. I can talk like this, and you have a boom mic over me that's
Right.
picking up an ant walking on cotton. That's why with the quiet on the set, they mean quiet.
Quiet. Yeah.
So there's your difference.
That's a realization. Well, listen, Robin, we want to show a couple of pictures, and
Oh.
these are your professional pictures. So you're with an agency, correct?
I am. Mhm.
And
Coastal Talent.
what's your agency?
My agent is Coastal Talent of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
Beautiful picture.
The owner is Linda Eisen and Pamela. Pam. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful pictures.
Thank you.
These are saying like, "Hey, y'all, I'm here. I'm here." So you also brought a clip, and I want to
Okay.
see the clip. Boy, hello, Mr. Peters. We thank you for that. Yeah. Okay, let's see the clip. Tiana.
Okay.
Based on the information we got from the authorities here in Jamaica, Sean Harper left Kingston 2 days ago. But here's the kicker. He flew into D.C., landed at Dulles Airport last night.
Well, he's probably coming to pick up his money.
He's on a tourist visa.
The state of Texas. They said the request for extradition is official. Signed, sealed, delivered. Get your spurs ready. You're going to Texas.
You can't extradite me. We have a deal.
Deal's gone. You recanted.
He did. I didn't. I recant him. I recant.
We can't have you plead to a crime you didn't commit, Mr. Fable. How does it feel, Mr. Fable? You killed all those women, and now a woman is going to return the favor.
But she does not get to say what happened to me.
Fine. If you change your mind, you know where to find me. Guess who?
You're rich, sexy, and a boss.
You forgot smart. What do you want?
Now, hold on. Is there any way you want to talk to the man that just set you up to make 125 grand?
I've made more in less time. Now what do you want?
You.
You deactivated my badge?
I take it that you bribed Carl to get in. If you can't trust your security guard, who can you trust?
Through with this! You know what? I'm gonna start my own company.
Is that a threat? You don't stand a chance. My company ranked #1 in this area. And you can't take a breath in this town without asking my permission.
I got so much dirt on you. I can bury you, Storm. And your business plan, I probably know better than you.
Is that right? Try me. I love a challenge.
And for the record, I quit.
They don't call me Storm for nothing. Don't say I didn't warn you. Carl, you are so fired. I will get even with you.
Whoa! Wow! Look at that.
I'm nothing like that woman.
All right, Storm is something else. So, what character have you played that seems to be more like you, or have you?
Storm is more like me.
Oh, that's Storm.
I like being in control. And to be honest with you, my character type, if I had to typecast myself, I would prefer to play a good bad detective. Yeah, she's strong in her demeanor and her delivery, but still, everybody on the block knows and respects her.
Wow.
Gets the job done.
Wow, that was fabulous. That was great. So,
Thank
what
you.
show is that, and can we see that coming out soon, or is that one of the pilots that you were
That's
talking
one
about?
of the pilots. Now, Daddy, We're Back. That is one of my baby as well. We filmed that in Tampa, Florida. And we started it, I would say, back in 2020, and then COVID hit. So, we're in distribution right now. So I could say, out of all the pilots that I've ever worked on, this is the closest I've ever come to a distribution picking it up. So keep us in your prayers.
Oh, most definitely, because I definitely want to see that one.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely want to see what's going to happen, and everybody's sending their claps and everything. I mean, fabulous. That was great. So when you're talking about the pandemic, what is happening to acting now? During the pandemic, this post-pandemic, how are people able to film now? I know that Tyler Perry has a bubble. Have you been in a bubble?
We were. Everything literally shut down. Just recently, we're starting to really get back into the game. You have to, you can or cannot get tested, vaccinated. But eventually, everyone is going to go to that. Now, how most of the companies, let's see, when I had gone to do Chase, I had to get I had to get tested 3 times. So, with the spike and everything. But it shut down a lot. You had a lot of the professional stars doing a lot of Skyping, and, they were hurting as well. because
Yeah.
production was shut down, and this thing is running rampant everywhere. So it's starting to get, but it didn't stop a whole lot of the production. We did notice some, major projects that they had already started. They had to, they were committed, so they had to go through with it. But then you got a teeter-totter, and you had to take all that extra precaution. So
Right.
now things are starting to open back up, and we're going full frontal.
Wow. And what was it like living in a bubble?
Oh my God! Well, you had a break for a minute. You can actually take the side, just put it aside for a minute. But at the same time, you still need to be reading,
Right.
and because you have lots and lots of lines to carry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm a procrastinator. I can say that. I'm
Really? Robin, come on.
Woo!
Really?
Yes.
Girl,
My
stop.
best work. I do my best work because I know I got to get it done. So
Right.
I'm at it. I'm at it.
So you're going to hit it at the
I'm
last
gonna
minute.
hit
You
it.
got it. You're on
I
point.
got it. I'm on point.
So Robin, what's next? What's next for you?
Well, we're currently working on 2 pilots, and the one currently we're working on is called Dinner for Seven, Servants Got Free, and I'm playing a minister.
Oh, come on, come on.
Yeah, but
From
I'm a
storm, from storm to the sexy minister.
sexy minister. So that's going to be interesting. I can't say a lot about it,
Right.
but we're filming bits and pieces in different locations, but currently here in Charleston.
Right. Now, are you open to people getting in touch with you to ask
Absolutely.
you about how you're doing what you're doing and giving tips and advice and all? And so, one of the things I want to ask you before we go is, what is the takeaway that you'd like folks to learn from you from this interview?
Whew. Continue on with what you're passionate about. I always say, you're who you are and what you are because the choices you made. It's always been our family's staple. If you're passionate about something that you really, really want to do, that is where your success lies. As for beginners or anyone, even, Denzel Washington said, you constantly have to be before the camera because no one's going to know who you are if you're not constantly working on your craft. So continue on with what you're passionate about. It may not be acting, modeling, but it can be anything in different industries.
That's
But in this industry, it's like you say, it's a lot of hard work. A lot of this I don't get paid for, but I work on it. But there are perks because the perks are I get a reel from it, and I can put that on my IMDb where other casting directors can look for it. So constantly working on your craft, get before the camera, whether it's big or small, it doesn't matter. I just love what I do, so if it suits and it works, I'll work on it.
That's right. And you also in your part-time work on your designing
Yes.
your jewelry as well.
Yes, I'm working on that. Yeah, I put that down for a while. But I'm picking it up again. It relaxes me and it takes my mind off the world for me.
That's right. And I had my necklace on
You
because
did?
I wore it today and I took it off. I should have had it on. But I love that necklace you gave me many years ago. Beautiful necklace. I tell you what, whenever you start back to jewelry designing, you let
I
me
got
know,
you.
okay? Let
I
me
got
know,
you.
please.
Oh.
I appreciate it.
There's another pilot I'm working on called Pressure. And
Okay.
it's interesting because I'm playing a madam in this one.
A what?
A madam.
Oh. You playing all the seductress roles. Oh.
I love it because I get to showcase what I can do, if I can do it. I don't want to be in a bubble. I don't
Right,
want to play all the prissy roles all the time.
right,
That's
right.
cute and everything, but I want to see how far I can go with it and what I can do.
Yeah, and that's wonderful because now you're versatile. As we said, you are well-rounded. So when people are looking, you're able to give them something different. You're not cast type,
Right.
typecast, where in soap operas you playing whatever and you're just that. And
Yeah.
they said no, she can't play anything else. Yeah. So Tiana, let's show her Facebook page and her IG in case when people want to get in touch with her. And you've been working with this next actor that's coming on, my brother, that's coming on, and we don't have the picture, but he sent me a picture at the last minute, Roy. So we're gonna see if we can put it on. I don't know if Tiana's got it yet, but the two of you all have done projects together.
Yes,
and yeah,
Illusion. Director and writer.
uh-huh.
He is doing some dynamic things here in Charleston, and that man, he has a brilliant mind when it comes to writing. Woo!
Wow.
Great characters too. He has
Wow.
some good characters in this, so I'm looking forward to part 3.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for you, Robin, and
Thank you.
congratulations to you. I've got one last thing to ask you. I need 3
Sure.
words that describe you.
Silly, exciting, wonderful.
Wonderful. Oh, silly, exciting, and wonderful. Listen, my sister, I thank you so much for joining me and taking the time out of your acting schedule to be with us today.
Keep me in your prayers.
Oh, yes, you know that always, Robin. If there's
Thank you.
anything I can do, let me know.
Thank you.
Love you much. Thank you, Robin.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye-bye. Listen, I tell you what, didn't I tell you we've got a great show planned for you, talking with actors and actresses that are out there doing it. And from my hometown, Charleston, South Carolina. So listen, we're going to be back because you're going to meet the next actor. And he's a thespian, and he's going to tell us all about it. We'll be right back.
The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com.
All right, listen, we've had a great guest on, Robin Fletcher, actress and also jewelry designer. So check her out on her Facebook page, Robin Inez Fletcher, and her IG page, Robin Fletcher 5455. All right, it gives me great pleasure to talk to this gentleman. I've known him many years. You can almost say he kind of raised me, you know what I'm saying? But he's going to laugh at that. But anyway, his education is so important to me. He did theater at the University of District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. He has acted on stages with many celebrities that you probably know of. He's been in Animal Farm, Man, Better Man, a musical, Mambo Media, It's Showdown Time, 227, One More Time, Stick Fly, Fences, George Washington's Boy, Paul Laurence Dunbar, Miss Dessa, and also Illusions. So I tell you what, I am so blessed to have him on the show. I'm excited. Come on out, my brother, Roy Gilliard.
Hey, Tammy.
Hey, my brother, how are you?
Hey, you surprised me. You're blessed. I'm one of your blessings.
Yeah, hey, man, I'm blessed to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You know, I tell you what, Roy, we've known each other for many years. You know, I call you my big brother, and of course my sister Sylvia, and you all have been doing it. But I wanted you to come on the show because as long as I've known you, you've been acting. Now you've done a lot of other stuff,
Yeah.
but to see you on that stage. So let's talk about your journey and some of the things that you were doing that led you into acting.
Okay. First, let me say, Tammy, I appreciate the opportunity because a lot of times we don't ignore the arts, but people don't bring it to light like you're doing. So I appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
But you know, very succinctly, let me tell you this: when you said what brought me to acting, it was sort of a surprise to me because when I was in college, and I'm talking back in the '70s. I was going to try out for a football scholarship, and I went on the field, was had on all the equipment and everything. And you know what? After the practice, a friend of mine said, "Let's go over to the Arts Building." And long story short, I really didn't want to go, but I went. And when I went, I started looking around, looking at all the art, looking at the people. People were very friendly, looking at people in the rooms dancing, so forth and so on. And people come up to talk to me and say, "Well, whose class are you in?" Nobody. It's nobody. One of the acting teachers came up to me, and you know what she said to me? I'll never forget it. She said, "Boy, you look like you can act. I need somebody for this play."
Oh,
I
goodness.
said, "Look, man, I don't know what you're talking about." Long story short, I went and tried out for the play, and I'll never forget it. The play was called Animal Farm, and I've been hooked ever since.
Wow. So that was you just got the bug, in other words.
I did. That one day, I didn't even go back to the football field. And strangely enough, I realized through acting that football was really not my passion. I did it because it was a stereotype. I was a big guy.
Right.
When I was in high school, I did well. But I found out through acting, I sort of found me.
Wow, look at that. And we're talking about living your dreams. On this show, it's all about living out your dreams because we know, Roy, we've had some this last year was serious. If you don't do it now, you've got to do it and you've got to continue doing it. So talk about the fact, did you take acting lessons? Because like you say, you just tried out for the show and bam, you got it.
Right, you got it. And the answer is yes. Because what I did is I changed my major. I still did sociology, but I had a minor in theater. And through theater, I excelled. And you had to take the classes. You had to take theater. You had to know who Stanislavski was. And you had to study. I had instructors who would make you understand what is acting, when was it developed, things like that. So you had to do the whole history tutorial, and then you had to do other classes, like theater, improv, spontaneous reaction. It's all sorts of things that brought me into the person I am today.
Wow. So now talk about that, because I just heard a word and I was talking with Robin about it and I kind of heard that word as well. Improvisation. Do you like to do improvisation? Is that one of your favorite things that you like to do?
I don't know if you knew it or not, but it is. Because I've dragged my wife Sylvia along with me to some improvs here in Charleston.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed it. I don't know if you know Jay Johnson, but we went to see him a couple of times downtown. He's excellent at that. And improv, Tammy, believe it or not, helped me develop myself in terms of coming out of my shell, public speaking. You had to be spontaneous. And it helped me, and I had a long management career in the corporate world. I don't think if I had not taken improv or theater, I don't know how I would fare out. But I did excellent, and I attribute that to improv, theater, and coming out of my shell.
Well, you know what, Roy? I see you. I don't even see you not being that shy person back in the day when you was in high school at Burke High School and all that. I don't see that in you. I've always seen you as the Roy that is able to articulate and enunciate and always speaking so well, because I've heard you speak at several events, and you've always impressed me with doing that. So I want to talk to you now about, how do you prepare for a role? What do you do?
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's a good question. There's several ways. I guess you're asking me, what do I prepare and how do I prepare for the lines and other things. But what you do is, it's a mindset. First I set the roles that I know that I can do well in. And once I do that, I know I have to study the lines. So you read over that material that you're giving, of a part that you tried out for, and you made it. You read over it until you get the important part of that whole writing or whatever it is. And then You got to remember the lines. And people, my daughter used to come up to me after she would see me at the theater and say, "Daddy, you can't even remember where your keys at." Look here. How do you remember all those lines? 5, 6, 7 pages. But when you do something you love, Tammy,
That's right.
it comes natural.
Natural.
But then there's some techniques as well. I have a partner. No matter what role I play, she's going to play the other role. So she's probably be in the same film or theater that I'm in. Because I have to bounce up. When if I'm Frank, she's going to be Mars or whatever, and I bounce the lines off of her. So I try to remember it, and she takes the other part.
Right. So yeah, go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So that's preparation. What I would tell young people when they're here, this helps me as well. I didn't do this in the early days, back in the 90s and things like that. But now, when I have a part, I say the part, have someone say the other people's part, I tape it, and then I put it in my ear all day long when I'm not doing something. Or when I was working, when I was at my desk, or even around the house, I put the earplugs in, and it's going on all day. Sometimes I used to go out to eat, people used to say, "That man talking to himself." No, I was listening to the tape bag made. And that's a great way to learn lines.
And you know, Roy, talking, and I'm just thinking about you because I'm looking at you. I know recently, a while ago, before COVID, pre-COVID, you played a pastor.
Right.
A preacher.
Yeah.
Now, tell me about that role. How were you able to be ready to play a preacher?
Well, that's a good question. Of course, we know a lot of preachers. You know that.
Hello.
So what I did was I sort of singled it out into a pastor who I respect a lot and who I know, and I did a lot of his impressions, a lot of his mannerisms, and I developed that character. And that went over well because that was in a movie that I was in.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes it's just watching people or listening to different things that other preachers do and say, and the way they handle themselves, and then formulating it to what you want it to be.
And that's important because now you're able to convince people that you are that person.
That's it.
That's right.
Tell me that's the whole part of acting. The guy that we said discovered acting in the modern times said these words. An actor is a human being that what she is undertaking. And you've got to be that, no matter what it is.
Wow.
Stanislavski.
Who is that said that, Roy?
Stanislavski.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right. That's right. In your acting.
That was back in the 1860s and 70s.
Wow. Wow.
People are still practicing his examples to this day.
To this day, yeah. So you would tell, your thing is, and if I'm hearing you correctly, you would tell young people about the same thing that Robin was talking about, is just practice your craft. It's practice, practice, practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
wow.
no
So,
different. Yeah.
Go ahead, Roy.
It's no different from you singing and have to practice those tunes. Or when I was playing sports, I have to practice. You gotta practice. You can't just walk out and think it's gonna happen.
That's right.
Practice makes perfect.
Perfect. That's right. Well, let me ask you about this. What was your favorite role, or what is your best favorite role that you have?
Oh boy.
That you've done.
Man, I've had a lot of them, but I've had to define one as my favorite. Actually, there would be two.
Okay.
I did, I don't know if you ever saw Stick Fly.
Stick Fly.
Stick Fly, I played the father of this upper class family at their beach house in Boston. And it went through a lot of the troubles, some of the happiness, some of the problems that most families go through, but a lot of things came out, and it occurred in Boston. That was Stick Fly, written by Sylvia Diamond, who's a prolific young writer and director. And we did that. I enjoyed that role.
Yeah.
The other one was Ceremonies and Dark Old Men. And I did that in here at the Dark Street Theater. Ceremonies is indicative of our culture. And it made me think, and it made me think about my father. You knew my father. Because I played the head of the family, father, and he was a barber. And if you saw Ceremonies and Dark Old Men, you saw my father. So those are, yeah. So hey, if I had to say the best roles that I've had or I like, it would be those two.
And so if those were your favorite, then
That's
what
good.
about your hardest role?
You know, my hardest, I don't know if I want to use the example hard, but
Or challenging,
One night-
challenging,
challenging.
challenging,
There you go.
challenging.
The most challenging one was with local director in Charleston, Yvonne Rhodes. And Yvonne asked me to do a role in George Washington's Boy. Now, the thing about George Washington's Boy is I'm always acting things out, and I still had to act it out, but it was the majority of it was a reading, and it was about a culture that we didn't understand because it was back in the 1700s with George Washington, slavery, and all that other stuff, the war that was going on. But it was acted out by African Americans, mostly.
Wow, and I was in one of Yvonne's plays as well with Ty Collins. Ty Collins wrote, and I played Nina Simone. So I know that challenge, and that was a challenge. I know what you're talking about.
Just imagine me as Alexander Hamilton. That's what I played.
Wow. So now you've been in television and stage. What's your favorite?
I would have to say I love television and the movies because there's always a pause there sometimes. But I love the theater. I love the theater. And because it's a great challenge. There's no turning back.
That's right.
Once I start, like I'm starting with you now,
Yes.
that's where the improv coming in because you'll know if I make a mistake. You can't say, wait a minute, go back.
Line, please.
It's forward forever.
Yeah. Wow. And so I can only imagine who is one of the actors that you had an opportunity to play with, to act with, and learning, gleaning from them. I know one of yours was Tony Grant, I believe.
Oh yeah, I was in Illusions with Tony Grant, and there are a couple of locals too. But Tony Grant is famous for his acting with Tyler Perry, and I played his father in Illusions. That was a great time. I learned so much from this guy.
Right.
I'm telling you, it was the joy of my life.
Yeah. So,
Plus, now there are some great actors here.
yes, they are.
Like that, I can think of people, and I'm not dropping names, but I enjoyed being in Fences with Middleton, Clay Middleton.
Yes.
Clay he's a consummate actor,
Yes, he is.
and he's a great director.
Wow.
So I really enjoyed that. And there's several of them. I don't want to forget anybody, but there are a lot of actors. Art Gilliam, that I learned so much from. Jackie Smalls. And I see people on stage like Alicia Lark, great actors. Jackie Smalls. I'm sorry, Jackie Brown. And I learned so much from them.
Wow. I tell you what, talking with you, I can see how you bring those characters to life. Roy, when you talk about, just like with Robin, when you all are talking about your acting careers, your face just lights up. And I'm so glad to see you on this because we hadn't seen each other. I'm just glad to see you and see how your face is just shining. So you're ready to get back out there, right, Roy?
Hey, you know that's happening. But I've had a little hiatus because of some challenges like a knee surgery and things like that, and of course COVID.
Yes.
But I'm ready to get back in the saddle.
All right. Well, listen, they all looking. Your Facebook page. You can get in touch with Roy. Listen on his Facebook page and ask him all the questions you want. But I know. And when you all get that call, don't forget about your sister up here.
I'm not gonna forget. Trust me.
Hey, listen. So I want to talk with you about what's next for Roy. I know you want to get back out there, but what's next for you? What are some of the things that you're doing now?
Well, like I said, I just came out of a little hiatus with some challenges. I had to get knee surgery, so that took time. COVID took a while. But I'm looking to do some more projects with Dennis King, who's a prolific young director. He's got another Illusions project going on, and he's asked me to do that. So I'm looking forward to that, as well as working with people like Loretta Green, Stephanie Green, with Stephanie.
Oh yeah.
You've got to see their work. These people they may be filming now as I speak. They just have that mindset and are great artists in Charleston. So I'm looking forward to doing some things with them as well.
Wow. And I want to show this picture of you and Sylvia because, like you say, you drag her and say, "Come on, come on."
She's my co-actress.
That's right. That's your queen. That's your
It's
queen.
good to have
Now,
a co-actress that you love, you know.
hello.
You can
Come
get
on.
along with, you know?
Yeah. My sister. That's a beautiful picture of you all. Beautiful picture. I know. And now you're a granddaddy.
Hey, that's the joy of my life. You saw her earlier.
Yeah.
Every time she says "Papa," she broke my heart.
I know. I know that's your heart. So, Roy, what's the takeaway as we are coming down, winding down? I just want to ask you, what's your takeaway that you want the audience to learn from your experiences and advice you would have?
The main thing I would say is that if you think there's something that you cannot do, or if you have some doubt about yourself or how you're going to interact with the public or other people, acting in theater is good for that because it tends to bring you out. It tends to give you a feeling of doing something. If you love it, you just can't get it out of your system. And it helps you to open up. You said earlier that I'm a pretty good speaker.
You are.
But theater and acting, the lessons that you take in the classes helped me with that. And I thank God for that.
Wow. And Roy, I tell you what, you are one of those, and I've known you when you were doing in management and your corporate career, and how you were able to bring the community together. And you're still doing that. I want to ask you, because, we have a little bit of time, and I want to ask you about the Bow Affair, because that's a passion. That is you. Yeah. That's what you do. Talk about the Bow Affair.
Over 15 years now. I thank you for bringing that up, because I love that too. That's my passion. As well as when we as individuals get involved in things, we always got to remember, like you, Tammy, you have to give back to the community.
That's right.
You have to reach one and you have to teach one. The Bow Affair is what has helped me to do that with our young men. Because the things that are going on nowadays with our young men. It's just horrific. Every week you turn a TV on and somebody's getting shot, killed, and the unfairness that's meted out to some of our young black men. But anyway, our program helps young men to define themselves. Right now we're putting juniors and seniors. We tend to take that to lower grades, but right now juniors and seniors. And we take them through a litany of things. And just for instance, we have seminars on self-determination. We have seminars on college prep, if that's what you like. We have communication skills.
Wow.
dress for success. Okay, we even have a coach where a course where someone comes in and teach our young men how to deal with the women, the mothers, the girlfriends that they have, how to treat a lady, conflict resolution, entrepreneurship. You know, a lot of different courses. But our motto is, and just remember this: from malehood to manhood. And that's what we try to help bring these young men up with. We're actually taking applications now this month. It ends this month for 11th and 12th graders. And if anyone is interested, get in touch with me. Go to the website boafair.org. Fill out the application. If you have problems with it, call me.
Okay.
You should be able to get me through Facebook, or I can leave a number or however you want, but contact us. We've got to work with our young men.
Yeah, I mean, and Roy, that's why I brought it up, because that's something that you've been doing, and in your acting and your corporate career and everything, you have always given back to the community. And so I just put it here in the chat for people to see. Boa Fair. And so you're able to help our young men, and that's so important now. That is just so paramount, because we have, like you said, so many young people, and especially our young men, that are being killed, that are going in wrong directions, that have no direction. And to have men like you and your members come together and really help these young men. I've seen some of them, they're grown now.
Yes.
And doing well because of the Boa Fair.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, wow, that's fabulous. Look, Roy, we can talk all night.
Sure can.
You know how that goes. But listen, I want Tiana, let's show them Roy's Facebook page, please, so that if they want to get in touch with him, folks can get in touch with you on your Facebook, Roy Gilliard. And please, what number would you want folks to call you?
They can call me at 843 200 8927.
Okay, repeat that one more time for us.
It's 843 200 8927.
Okay, your final words. What else would you like to share with us?
Well, I really didn't think about it, but I would say that in lieu of everything that's going on now, we need to put our head to the universe, give thanks every day, and ask forgiveness, and for us to help each other. We've got to start helping each other.
That's right.
And that's what I do.
Wow, Roy, I love you. So I'm going to ask you, what's 3 words that describe you, Roy? I can't let you go without that.
Oh, Lord. Hey, look at her. If I say difficult, my wife was declared boy. But I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, if you deal with me, you understand that I'm dedicated.
Yes.
I am compassionate. And you know me, if you're close to me, you know that I'm a little funny.
You are.
I make fun.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So dedicated, passionate, and of course funny. I tell you what, you come to that house, you always keep us laughing. Listen, Catherine love Uncle Roy. That's all she said. Uncle Roy keeps me laughing, Mama. Yeah. So I appreciate you so much. Listen, I enjoyed having you on the show. Love for you to come back and talk with us about what you're doing and how we can get involved, how people can help you with the Boa Fair as well.
And I want to thank everybody for their support with my theater career, the Boa Fair, and thank you for having the mind to bring it forward, so that people understand the arts.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much, Roy. Give Melissa, Nova, and my sister Sylvia, give them my love, and thank them too, for making sure that they're producing for you.
I got you. Because they do.
Yeah.
Well, them, there's no me.
All right, Roy.
All right.
Listen, you take care of yourself. I love you, my brother. Take care of yourself. And
Love
thank you
too.
again.
Thanks for the time.
Okay, thank you. All
Appreciate
right.
it.
All right. Listen, I tell you what, it's great when you can have family on and you can talk with your family and your friends and just get information about their passions. And that's what it's all about, folks. It's all about us living out our passions, living out our dreams. If we don't do it now, if we don't take the time to do it now, we won't ever do it. You'll look back and we'll say, where did the time go? And as I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself, because that's why I came back on the air again, started doing this, because this is what I love to do. I love talking to people. I can talk all day long, all night long. Roy knows that, Sylvia knows that, because we're on the phone all the time. And so, it's about getting out there and doing it. And this is the time for us to pay attention to the arts. As Roy said, people haven't really talked about the arts. And the arts is what got me through school. Playing the piano from 3 years old all the way through college. I was able to make money. And I thought I was going to start when I was 15 years old. But when I went to Howard at 16 years old, my mother said, you continue to play the piano. And so I went and I also continued to play. And doing acting and modeling. All those things help you become a better person, a well-rounded person. And I can say that about my brother Roy, and I definitely can say that about Robin. They are well-rounded folks. You heard Roy say he was in corporate America. You heard Robin, she's been in corporate America. She's been doing all kinds of things as well, and jewelry designer. So these things help us to be better. But as we're getting older, now is the time for us to take that time and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be better. And so I want to thank my guest again. Robin, I want to thank you so much. Roy, I want to thank you. I love you both so much. Also, this is the Power of the Arts. So I want you to join us next week as we continue the Power of the Arts, because we're going to be talking to Mahogany and Andrew Amer. And I tell you what, they're going to come on there with responsible artistry. And when I tell you, they bad. Producers, music, everything, singing, acting, all of it wrapped up in one. And I'm looking forward to talking with them next week. So another great show. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you all for joining the show. All of you that joined us on Facebook and YouTube. Remember, please subscribe to the Tammy TV Show YouTube channel. And I always say thank you to my producer, Alicia, and my assistant producer, Tiana. Tiana, girl, you doing it. And I just want to thank you so much for being with us. Okay, let us be a blessing to someone today and every day. I always say that, because if you're not, life is not worth it. We've got to do, as Roy said, and Robin, we've got to help each other. We've got to continue to do that. We've got to lift up each other, because now is the time, folks. Time is too short. So let's do that for each other. Remember, wear your mask, social distance, and wash those hands. Again, thank you for joining the show. And until the next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.